So in the past few years of my life, I went from someone who was painfully awkward to someone who became kind of confident, to a point when I now meet people from my past life, they can't recognize me. They tell me how much I've changed and they're kind of surprised. So I can talk about my journey all day long, but I want to make something really concise and valuable for you guys to at least start your journey. So this video is going to have three parts. The first part is going to be about confidence and the origin of confidence. I'll talk about where does confidence really come from. In the second part, I'll talk about behavior change, how to go from where you are right now to where you want to be. And I'll talk about just my closing notes and some recap of the whole video. Sounds simple enough, right? So let's get started. So there are numerous theories about where confidence comes from. There are a lot of umbrella terms like self-esteem, self-love, self-worth. But the one common thing that I find in all of these theories is the subject of appropriateness to life. So let me break it down. Appropriateness is a word I'm pretty sure most of you have heard, which means feeling in place or feeling okay about something. For example, if I get a job and I really trust and believe that I got that job because I had the appropriate skill to get that job. So in this very moment, I'm feeling appropriate to my place in getting this job. In a very similar way, when we feel appropriate to life, we feel that we deserve to live or to have a place in this universe. And that makes you confident. For example, people who find it really difficult to say no, what they're actually going through is that they do not truly believe that they can assert their needs because they feel kind of inappropriate to life. They don't feel that they deserve to pursue the things they want to pursue. And you'll find this phenomenon mostly in teenagers because that is when we're the most shy. That is why most people have their worst years in their teens, because they're still figuring out their place. They're still figuring out their likes, dislikes, how they are as people. So as teens, we're trying to find our place in this universe and we're trying to feel appropriate to life. So why do some people feel more appropriate to life than others? Well, if you're growing up in a household where your wants or needs are acknowledged and identified, you kind of feel more appropriate because that is how your environment is communicating to you. Like the feedback from your environment is telling you that your needs are important and you should be asserting them and your opinion needs to be taken accounted for because that is important. And people who grow up in households where they don't really have much of a say, or perhaps it's too negative and whatever they do or say is not enough, people feel inappropriate to life because they feel that their wants and needs or whatever they're thinking or feeling or putting out in the universe is not acknowledged or not worthy. So in very simple words, if you feel more appropriate to life, you will be more confident. And if you feel less appropriate to life, you will feel less confident. And this manifests itself in every single part of your life. For example, you want a raise, right? But do you actually internally feel that you deserve that raise or you just want more money? Similarly, if you want to confess your love to a girl, right? There's always a chance of rejection. But internally, do you think or do you feel that even if it's a rejection, it is your right to assert your feelings towards someone? Are your feelings appropriate enough to be asserted irrespective of the result or the outcome of your action of confessing it? So now that we understand where confidence comes from, we must first truly measure our current confidence level so that when we go to the next section of habit change, we know where we're starting from, right? So again, there are a lot of theories in figuring out how confident you are, but I use this personal assessment for myself and it's fairly simple. So in my opinion, there are three levels or three stages of confidence. The worst stage, or the third stage, is what I like to call I want to be liked stage. In that stage, you're always looking for reasons to be liked or to feel appropriate, and everything that you do indirectly or directly ask for that validation of feeling appropriate. So this is someone who everyone likes, right? This person does not say no to anyone, they overcommit. They're overly apologetic. They change their opinions based on which circle or which group they're sitting in. They let others make decisions for them because they feel too bad about challenging someone else's decision for themselves. These are people who go through their conversations multiple times about what they said or what they should have said quite too often. The second stage is I don't want to be condemned stage. So these are people who are fairly good at asserting their needs, but they don't assert it to a very extreme level. Like these are people who avoid conflicts but are okay with minor disagreements. Even when they want to disagree, they kind of cake up their dialogue. Maybe they're not saying the right thing. For example, if you don't want to go out with your friends because you don't feel like it, they'll say something like, hey, I'm sick or something. So these are the people who are okay with asserting things, and they have developed this habit of asserting things, and they're mostly okay, but they avoid conflicts like the plague. They don't want to get into an extreme conflict, and usually they're compromising in some parts of their life because they just don't want to get into that big conflict. This is the second level of confidence. The third and final peak level of confidence is I want to be. So let's revisit the three stages and see the connotations of the wordings. The third is I want to be liked. So you want something from others to justify your appropriateness, right? In the second stage is I don't want to be condemned. So now you're not pulling something for your appropriateness, like you don't want other people to do something. Your appropriateness is mostly dependent internally, as long as there's no strong hate coming towards you. And the third is I want to be. And this is completely internal in terms of appropriateness. Like you just want to exist, you just want to be, you just want to assert who you are because you feel appropriate to life fully. Let's move forward to the section of the science of behavior change. Just like the origins of confidence, the science of behavior change has a lot of theories, a lot of data, a lot of books. For me personally, there's a very simple framework as I personally like to understand it, and I call it the TDR. So T is for think, D is for do, and R is for receive. So let me expand on this. Whenever there's any action taking place in the world, it has a thought behind it, right? You think about something before you do something. And even when you don't do something, you think about it. So I'm going to take one example. I'm going to take it through the entire TDR framework so you understand how it works in the real world. For example, one of my friends just said something to me that was exceptionally rude, okay? And because I have low appropriateness to life, I'm kind of confused if what they said was actually objectively rude or am I being dramatic? Because the people who are low in confidence, they always question their feelings against the objective reality of the world. Like, am I being dramatic or am I just too sensitive or is this actually a rude thing, right? You're questioning yourself in your brain. This is what you're thinking. So you're on the fence and you're like, I think it's just me. I'm always like this, I'm always too sensitive. I'm always too dramatic. Maybe I had a bad day and this person was just joking. So I shouldn't be confronting this person about this thing, right? You're having this thought process in your head. So in order for you to change that, you need to question this belief. You need to be like, hey, even if it's not objectively rude, because they chose to be my friends, I want to be able to freely talk about how their words mean to me or how they affect me, even if it's not objectively as rude. And because this person consciously chose to be my friend, I will talk about it. I will assert it, right? So I change my thinking. I'm appropriate to asserting what I feel by their words and their action. This is the first part of behavior change. So you ask yourself, what would a confident person do? Will they confront this person? Will they just shrug it off and never talk to this person again? What would they do? And usually internally we do know what would a confident person do, but because we're so into our own self-image and our own idea of appropriateness, we don't really do that action. So first we ask ourselves, what would a confident person do? And that is how we shift the T part of the TDR. But it will never matter and it will never change if I don't actually do what I'm thinking right now. So when you have your new thought, when you're thinking in a new framework, you assert that by taking action. And that is the doing part. So now we go back to our actual scenario. I look at my friend and I just say something like, hey, I know you were just joking about this last bit, but it didn't really make me feel good. I'm not sure if it was objectively rude or, I just took it that way. But I'd really appreciate it if you don't go onto that topic because we spend so much of our time together. The last thing that I want is having negative feelings towards you or from what you say, right? So simply you just assert what you felt. And at this point, I want to say that these are the only two things that is in your control. You can change how you think about things and you can change how you approach things. You are 100% in control of these two things. And the third part of behavior change is the response. The response that the universe gives back to you when you change T and when you change D. So my friend at this point can either be like, hey, I'm so sorry. I did not realize how you felt about it. I'll be careful. Or you can be like, yeah, shut the fuck up. Like, we're friends. What the fuck are you getting offended for? So they can dismiss your confrontation, or they can acknowledge and they can promise to change, right? And again, if you're low in confidence, the second part would make you feel that it was you who did the wrong thing. So, oh yeah, objectively, now that I think about it, he didn't say anything that was wrong, right? You're questioning yourself. And you go back to T. What would a confident person do here, right? A confident person would probably be like, hey, I feel appropriate to life, and I feel that I deserve friends who, even if they don't agree with what I have to say, respect me enough to not say certain topics, because that is not asking too much. So I would not want to be friends with this person. The point is, you continue doing this again and again and again and again, and you will find that the response start becoming more and more appropriate. It's like a cycle. You think in confidence, you do something confidently, and the response from the universe is mostly positive. And when it's negative, you don't take it personally because you go back to your thinking. So going back to an earlier example, I confess my love for someone. I tell them that I have affection for them. I love them, whatever. And in response, they don't have the same feeling towards me. So I go back to T. A person with low confidence will be like, I'm not good enough to be loved. I'm not good enough to be responded to. But a person with high confidence would probably be like, hey, everyone has the right to choose their partners. And the person's rejection of my approach tells more about the kind of partner they're looking for versus me being worthless. So they have the right to reject me. It does not make them a bad person, and it does not make me a bad person. It just tells me that both of us want different things. And if you're operating at an even higher level of confidence, you'd probably also be like, this is for the best, because I would not want to be with someone who does not see me as an ideal partner. So you see the differences in how you think about things even after you receive the feedback. After a while, if you're doing this in a couple days, in a couple weeks, in a couple months, in a couple of years, you'd notice something really interesting. A lot of the people around you who were used to your inappropriate self would probably disappear or readjust. But then also you would have a lot of people in your life who are there for your appropriate self. They are attracted to your appropriate self. They desire your appropriate self. They have affection for your appropriate self. And this will extend to every single area of your life. Your career, your relationship with your families, your friends, how you approach your passion, how you spend your time, how you take action in the face of opportunity. How do you say no? How do you say yes? Every single part of your life would be defined by this. Now let's talk about some closing notes. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge that this topic is fairly wide-ranging, and I can make a much larger video on this, and I plan to. But I also wanted to put out a concise version that really distills everything that I've learned over time and give people something that they can start doing right now. Like the moment you close this video, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, you will enter a situation where you can apply the TDR framework. In order for this to be successful, you have to be really conscious about your life. You have to really think over or reflect over some of the things that you do. Maybe few hours from now, you did something that you didn't really want to do. You said yes to something that you didn't want to say yes to. You did not approach that person that you wanted to approach, right? So you need to be really self-reflective of your actions, and you need to really understand these things. So it would be really essential for you to truly measure where you stand in the realm of confidence, and what are the things that you're doing currently that showcases your feeling of inappropriateness towards life. So this is the end of the video. I would love to create a larger, more expansive version of this entire concept, but I would like you guys to let me know in the comment section about the things that you want me to make more clear in this whole process, so it will help me structure the larger video in a more effective way. Now, if you have seen this video up until completion, I want you to not watch any other video and start doing the concepts right now. This is more than enough information for you to get started on your journey to being fairly, or at least kind of confident. I hope you have a great day ahead, and I will see you in the next video.